Welcome, everyone. This is Frank Demora with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. And if you just found my YouTube channel by accident, I would like to invite you to go to my prophecy site, BibleProphecyMan.com. Now, I've already posted some for today, November 10th, but I'm adding to it. So if you go there and you don't see this video there, you can click in later, and that video, along with other news, will be posted. So, if you'd like, you can download my book, The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, for free today. It's a product of 35 years of research and documentation to prove that everything that the Lord warned about is already happened or in the process of coming to pass. And so with that, I want to turn our attention now to a prophecy in the Old Testament and the New Testament that has to do with the last world empire that will be here ruling under the authority of the Antichrist at the time that Jesus Christ comes. And he gives us information about what to look for in this fourth kingdom. So let's go into Daniel, which is in the Old Testament, chapter 2, verses 41 through 42. It says this: "And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the pottery's clay, and part of iron. And the kingdom shall be divided, and there shall be in it the strength of the iron, in as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." So we know that this last world empire, which is going to be revived Roman Empire, and just in case you don't know, the European Union is the revived Roman Empire. It's the western leg of the old Roman Empire, the same nations that used to be in that old Roman Empire. So when they're talking about the toes, you know that you have 10 toes on each foot, and later you'll see other references to the 10 showing us who they are. But we know that this kingdom in the last days is not going to hold together. They'll be partly strong, partly weak, and as you can see, partly broken. And what's happening in the European Union right now, we're looking at this very, very closely because we believe that it is a very good possibility that this is what we're seeing through this revived Roman Empire, the European Union. Now in Daniel chapter 7, verses 7 through 8, it says, "After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast." This is in reference to an image that God showed Daniel in the Old Testament. And the image may have looked something like this. This huge colossal was a figure of each world empire, one after another, that would conquer each other until you got the last empire, the empire that would be standing, the 10 toes that would be standing at the time that Jesus Christ came back. So this is the scriptures that I'm referring to right now, the fourth beast. It says, "Dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with its feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had," here you go, "10 horns." Now, in the other prophecy, you see that it talks about the 10 toes. These are analogies of the kingdom, but it's brought to light later on in Scripture. The 10 horns are actually 10 kings that will arise, and the Antichrist will have power given to him by these 10, as you're going to see here. So it goes on to say, "I consider the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn." So essentially what you have is you have the 10 horns that will come first. You have the kingdom that came. It was divided, partly strong, partly broken. Then you're going to have the 10 kings that would arise, or the 10 horns. And when it came up, there would be a little horn. In other words, the 10 would already be established, and then this Antichrist, who is called the little horn, is going to rise up into the 10, and then it goes on to say, "Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and Behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. In other words, the Antichrist is the little horn, the 11th horn that will shoot up into this kingdom that was broken, and now you see 10 toes or 10 horns. And when he comes up, he's going to subdue 3 of the horns. In other words, 3 of the kings or the leaders of these nations. And then we see again another scripture, Daniel chapter 7:23. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the earth, and shall tread on it, and break into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are, there you go, 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after him, and he shall subdue the first. So here we go, as we see in this scripture in 7 and 8, we also see it in verse 23. The 10 kings will be there, and they're going to give their power over to the Antichrist. He's going to subdue the kings, these 3 powers. Now, in Revelation, where Jesus talks about it, he says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. So, yes, the horns are an analogy, or symbolism, if you will, but it's telling us that they're kings. In other words, leaders of nations, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. In other words, when this last world empire, this revived Roman Empire, shows up, they'll be broken. And now we're already down here because all of these empires came and left already. Babylon, you got the Medo-Persian, you got the Greece, the Roman Empire, and then you'll have the revived Roman Empire, the last one, the 10 toes, and that's the horns that the Lord was showing us. So now, in our generation, we've seen the rise of this old Roman Empire. You see it, the same nations, as I said, from the old Roman Empire back again. So what the news shows us, let me get to this, is that this is really important because French and Germans explore the idea of a smaller Eurozone. I've been warning about this for a long time, saying I believe that there's a possibility. We're already seeing that the European Union is breaking up. Some of the nations like Germany and France are strong nations. And some of the nations like Greece and Italy are the weaker nations that are breaking up the European Union, or may break up the European Union. And this is what this article is discussing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time to read this to you in my next video and to show you the link between what's happening and what God told us in the book of Daniel in reference to this kingdom being partly strong and partly weak, and the 10 toes. This is very, very important information and things that we need to be watching for as the European Union tries to fight off this debt crisis. So scroll down, if you go to my website, just scroll down at my website, and I'm going to have part 2 posted shortly. Thank you.